I am 101 years old, and I want to tell you something that sounds backward the first time you hear it. The world looks at an old man who stays home all day, and it sees a fellow sidetracked, a life pulled off the main line and left to rust on a siding. I am here to tell you that man is not sidetracked at all. For the first time in his whole life, he is running on his own timetable, and that is about the wisest place a person can be. Now, I would not have believed that for most of my years, and I will be straight with you about why. I gave 50 years to the railroad, out here on the flat prairie, firing the boilers as a young man, and then running the locomotives the rest of the way, through the steam and into the diesels. And the railroad runs on one thing above all others: time. You keep to the timetable, or you answer for it. I lived my whole life by another man's clock. A call boy would come pounding on my door at 3 in the morning, and I would get up, tired or not, ready or not, and make my run. I learned to keep moving when my body wanted to quit. I learned that a man was worth what he hauled, and how close to on time he brought it in. Busy meant valuable. Doing more meant being more. I believed that clear down to the soles of my boots, and for a long stretch of years that belief kept me going. But I will tell you what the railroad also teaches you, if you stay on it long enough. It teaches you that everything has its last stop. And when I finally came to mine, when the runs were behind me and the house went quiet, something in me kept expecting that call boy at the door. It took me a while to understand he was not coming anymore. And it took me longer still to understand that this was not a loss. This was the first morning of my life that the timetable belonged to me. So here is the turn, and it is the whole of what I want to hand you. Staying home when you are old is not your life shrinking down to a siding. It is your life refining, settling onto the few stops that ever truly mattered. Rest at this age is not you falling behind the schedule. It is you finally getting to run on your own time. Nothing dramatic happened to bring me here. There was no wreck, no single bad morning. One day I just noticed the world out there had quit calling to me the way it used to. The noise of it seemed louder than it once did. The pace of it seemed too fast for the man I am now. And staying put, here in the old house by the tracks, quit feeling like being left behind, and started feeling like being home at last, off duty for good. I fought it at first, mind you. A man who spent 50 years believing that sitting still is the same as falling behind does not just uncouple from that in an afternoon. I would catch myself restless of a morning, feeling like there was a run I was late for. But there was no run. And slowly, once I quit fighting it, I began to see the gifts of it. There are a good many more of them than the world lets on. There is this one first. You have already proven it. Whatever you spent your life hauling, you hauled it. The freight got where it was going. I made my runs, I brought them in, and there is not a soul left at the division I have to prove one more thing to. That contest is over, and a man can set the whole weight of it down. Then there is your energy, and how precious a thing it turns into. A locomotive carries only so much steam, only so much fuel, and a good engineer does not waste it pulling a grade that is not his to pull. When you are young, you spend yourself like the tank will never run dry. It runs dry. Every outing now, every errand, every gathering, it carries a cost, and you feel that cost in a way you never did before. Some of them give something back. A good many quietly take more than they return. So you quit spreading yourself thin across every track that wants you, and you keep your steam for the grades that are truly yours. That is not a man giving up. That is an old engineer who finally knows what his fuel is worth. And there is what home does to a body and a mind. Out on the road, you are always reading the track ahead, watching for the signal, listening to the engine, braced for whatever is around the bend. You never fully set that down. Here, everything is known. The light comes across the same floorboards at the same hour. The chair fits me the way it has fit me for years. The sounds of the house are gentle, and they belong to me. That kind of known is not dullness. It is a quiet that a working man waits his whole life to feel, and you only feel it once the road is finally behind you. Now I want to be careful here because there are two things folks mix up that are not the same at all. Solitude is not loneliness. I ought to know the difference because I spent a great many nights alone in a cab with nothing but the headlight boring a hole in the dark and the rails running out ahead of me. Loneliness is an empty thing, a car uncoupled and left standing with nowhere to go. But solitude, the quiet you choose, that one is full. It gave me back my own voice after 50 years of it being drowned out by the engine and the schedule and the noise. I can hear myself think now. Turns out there was a good deal in me I never once slowed down enough to hear. And the stillness does another thing, and this one runs deeper. It lets the old runs come back up. Memories I spent years outrunning. When you are always moving down the line, you never have to look at them, and I have come to think a fair part of all that moving was just running from them the whole time. Sit still in a quiet house long enough, and they come up on their own. The people, the years, my opal, who rode the whole long haul beside me, and has been gone a few years now. And you get to sit with them at last, instead of leaving them standing on the platform behind you. You uncouple the cars you have been dragging too long, the regrets, the might-have-beens, and you make your peace with them. Not because everything got fixed, some of it does not get fixed, but because you finally stop the train long enough to face it square. The mending a man needs, the quiet kind, it does not happen at speed. It happens standing still, and it will not happen any other place. And the body knows peace when it finally finds it. 50 years of a shaking cab and cold platforms and broken sleep leaves its mark on a man. But when your surroundings go calm, something in you decides at last that it is safe, and it starts to mend. I sleep deeper in this quiet house than I slept in all my working years. I carry less of a knot in my back. Slowing down did not take my life away from me. It handed a good part of it back. Now, I promised you straight talk, so here is the part I will not shine up. The guilt does not go all the way quiet. 50 years of that call boy at the door does not uncouple from a man clean. There are still mornings, some of them, when an old bell rings somewhere in me and says, "Get up, you have got a run to make, you are falling behind." I would be lying if I told you I never hear it. But here is what I have learned to answer it. Rest at this age is not something you have to clock in and earn. You already earned it, over a whole working life of earning it. It is not a reward still down the line somewhere. It is yours, right now, paid in full. The bell still rings now and again. I just do not jump for it the way I once did. And there is the plain freedom of it. My day is my own division now. I decide what runs and what does not, who gets my time and who does not. And when a day slows down to my own pace, I start to notice the small things I railroaded straight past for 50 years. The way the morning light moves across the floor. Snow coming down soft on the old rails out the window. A single bird sitting the wire where the wires used to hum with the whole town's business. I hauled 1,000 tons of freight across this country and never once saw the light on my own kitchen floor. I see it now, and I would not trade it back. And the meaning of the whole thing shifts on you, quiet, when you are not watching. For most of my life, the meaning was in the tonnage in the miles, the loads hauled, the runs made on time. I thought that was what a life was built out of. Now it is just being here, awake in my own skin for one more ordinary morning, with the coffee hot and the light coming up over the prairie. No dispatcher, no timetable, no run to make, just the day itself. And I will tell you, that turned out to be the thing the whole time. It was sitting right here the whole time, and I was too busy making up lost minutes to ever pull in and see it. Not everyone will understand this, and you had best make your peace with that too. Folks will push you to stay busy, keep your schedule full, get out there more. Sometimes it comes from love, from worry that you are slipping off somewhere. And sometimes it comes from their own trouble with sitting still, because a settled man makes a restless person nervous. Either way, you do not owe a single soul an explanation for choosing your own peace. So here is my verdict, and I give it to you humble, because I got a good deal of this wrong for a good many years. Staying home is not your line shrinking down to nothing. It is your line refined down to the stops that were always worth making. Peace was never going to come from keeping up with the world's timetable out there. It comes from finally running on your own. Let me leave you with a picture instead of a sermon. Go find your own spot in your own home, the chair that fits you, the window with the good light. Sit yourself down in it and let the day run at its own easy pace, and be gentle with yourself while it does. You made your runs, you hauled your loads, you brought the freight in. You are allowed to pull into the station now and rest. If riding along with an old railroad man was worth your while today, I have got more of these talks, and I would be glad of your company on them. Stay on for another, and subscribe if it suits you, and if nothing else, leave a little like before you go, so this finds the next tired soul who needs to hear it. The light is good, the coffee is on, and I will see you down the line.